Hello everyone, today we've got a new product for you for the wildly popular GMC Mylink and Chevy Mylink systems. This is an 8-inch screen that very commonly goes bad, as we'll get into here. It was used on a lot of different trucks and SUVs from 2014 to 2019, 2020 in the case of the Chevy Colorado, and it is super common for it to go bad. This system controls everything for your car, the navigation, climate control, Bluetooth, and it generally works well, but after about 4 to 6 years in use, we start to see a variety of common issues pop up. Sometimes it will become frozen or unresponsive, where you touch the screen and then nothing happens, like you see here. Other times we'll see it randomly scrolling, jumping around, variously touching icons and things without actually being controlled. It's called ghost touching. Super common for that to happen. And then if you look online, you'll see that a lot of other people are in the same boat. They're having the same issues. So the reason this is happening is because the factory glass is too weak. It will distort over time and cause internal shorts in your grid and cause all the random touching and touch issues we talked about earlier. So your choices are to go to the dealer and they'll replace the entire display unit, the entire head unit. It's super expensive. You can install our upgraded touchscreen and fix the issue permanently at a fraction of the price, or you can just live with all the touch problems that you're having now, because it generally doesn't go away. It only gets worse over time. Our touchscreens have a lot of improvements over the other ones you might see. We use extra thick tempered glass for a better reliability and a more robust design. We have pre-installed tape on the glass, so you don't have to source it and install it and all the other hassles along with that. The glass has a top film that's really sharp, and it provides a more vivid image when you're looking at it, especially in sunlight. You won't see a glare, bright reflection like the other ones. We also have a strong upgraded connector that's not going to rip and tear easily when you install it. So all those reasons are why we recommend the Q-Screens unit. Each one is tested numerous times during production, unlike the others that get built and sent out to you for you to test it. Ours are individually tested. We spent a lot of time to develop a solid solution here, over 3 years of testing and redesigning and working to get something that's going to last and will be worth the time for you to install it. So we sell a lot of touchscreens. We've got a lot of experience in this. We're a US-based company here in Florida, and we'll dive right into the do-it-yourself installation video. So you can gather the materials you see here on the page, and you can find the CS-MYL touchscreen at your vendor of your choosing. So first off, we're going to talk about the Sierra Canyon, Acadia, Terrain, Colorado, and Silverado. These are all similar, not identical, but the idea is the same for the installation, so we'll kind of bundle everything together. First off, you'll use a trim tool, a soft nylon trim tool, to pop off a metallic bezel that goes around the display assembly like you see here. There really shouldn't be any screws. It just kind of pops off with a tool. This is the Acadia. It's a little bit different. It looks slightly different, but again, the idea is the same. So use your tool to pop that metallic bezel off. That'll expose your 7mm bolts that hold the display unit in place. So very simply remove those, and then the entire display panel will pop right off just like that. 2 connectors on the back. One of them, actually it's 3 in that case. There's a little tab that you press to release the connector. So squeeze the tab and pull the plug out of its housing. We'll get another up-close view of that one to give you a better idea of how to remove that. You don't have to worry about battery disconnect here. You can do it as it is. Just go ahead and remove the harnesses and pop the display off. And you can bring it inside onto a table, someplace where it's more comfortable and easier to work on electronics. All right, this section is for the Suburban, Tahoe, and Yukon. These should all be very similar, but essentially you pop the left side driver dash panel off, exposing the 2 T15 screws. So remove those. You can unlatch the knee panel just like that. Use your trim tool to pop it down. You don't have to fully remove it, just drop it down a little bit so you can access the center pieces. It just kind of disengages from there. Now you'll use your trim tool to pop up the center console trim piece up. It can be very, very sticky and require a huge amount of force to use, so don't be afraid of that. You just wedge your tool in there, lift it up, and slide it back a few inches so you can make some space for the other components to pop loose. Again, these clips get very, very sticky. So use your tool, use your hands to pull it up firmly and pull it up and back so you can make space. We'll show here on this video the location of the clips so you know where to apply pressure. With the center piece back, you can use your trim tool to pop that right side trim piece loose. Just clips is all that holds it in place, as you can see there. Same with the top trim piece, it just pops right up from the clips. And the ignition button panel will have a 7mm bolt holding it in. Remove that, and then the panel pops loose and comes straight back towards you with the friction clips. So that's how those go together. Next up, there are two 7mm bolts holding the AC section in. One right under each round button, the auto and sync button, so go ahead and remove those. And then the metallic trim fascia will pop off, as you see here. There you can see how the trim piece is held in with the clips. All right, now we need to access the bolts of the head unit. However, they're held in place, they're sort of hidden by the AC vents on each side. So the AC vents have a bolt holding those in, a little circle there. Remove those and slide it back. Both left and right, it's an identical mirror image of each other. So set the AC vents aside, and now you finally have access to your four 7mm bolts, two on each side. Remove those. All right, there you go. So now you can remove the display unit and bring it inside as well. So first off, we're going to kind of take a look at the display unit. Make sure you have all your materials gathered together, and you can put it on a table or something soft where you're not going to scratch up the plastic. All right, well, first step, we'll use a T15 bit driver to remove the gold T15 screws. Depending on your model, there may be the AC vents in the way that's preventing access to the screws. If that's the case, you can pop off those AC vents. They're just plastic latches or clips. You'll see how it works pretty easily, and you can gain access to those screws. But essentially what we're doing is removing all the gold screws so we can take off the black plastic housing. These screws are all the same. You don't need to worry about mixing them up. Alright, so now the plastic housing is free to be lifted off directly up, and that will expose the components inside here. The first step is we're going to disconnect two ribbon cables, the orange digitizer ribbon cable and then the upper white video ribbon cable. So you can use your finger, a fingernail, a trim tool, whatever you've got to kind of just lift up on that locking connector. It pivots 90 degrees, just lift it up, and then the ribbon connector comes straight up and out. It has a little locking ears on it. You'll see, we'll get an up close video here, but you can see that these are almost the same type of connector, both of them. So just lift up, pivot 90 degrees, and then we'll tilt the circuit board back once it's free from the connectors. Here's an up-close look of how this connection works. So the ribbon cable has two little ears on each side. It goes under the gold pins, and it kind of tucks in there behind the tabs to keep it nice and straight and aligned. And then it locks down into place when you go to reconnect it. So that's just kind of an FYI on how it works. Moving on, the LCD assembly can be lifted up out of the plastic housing. There's no glue or tape or anything. It should just lift straight out. Now the job is to remove the glass from the LCD screen. The LCD screen is the silver housing you see there with the black LCD panel. The touch glass just kind of sits on top of it. So we need to remove that. Most of the time you can use a utility knife, X-Acto knife, just very gently cut through the old tape that is holding the glass on. Obviously, be very, very careful on this. Don't try to break the glass. Don't try to cut yourself. Use common sense here. Gently go around and cut through that old tape material. Utility knife, X-Acto knife, something like that. You can see what we're doing. We're going through and removing that tape bond that's holding the glass digitizer to the LCD. In this example, the glass cracked. That's not ideal. But be patient, go around with the heat gun to kind of soften up that glue and help with the separation process. Alright, so once the bond is broken from the glass to the LCD, you can carefully remove the old digitizer. We're going to scrap this out. There's no core exchange. This is essentially scrap or recycle at your discretion there. But before we put the new glass on, you'll want to prepare the surface. Try not to touch the black LCD. You don't want any fingerprints on it. If you do happen to get fingerprints, you can use a soft microfiber towel and tiny bit of water if you have to, but it's best just to avoid it. Generally, you want to go around the outside and peel off this tape, the old tape that exists. Use your X-Acto knife and just kind of slice it off of the edge. There may be small residue pieces. We can remove those later. This type of job is all about having patience and taking your time, not rushing it. Use the air duster and a soft towel to remove any excess residue that might exist. You're looking for a perfect surface with no dust, no debris before you mount the new glass, because the new glass is going to seal in whatever you see. So get it to your satisfaction, and then I use air duster to help blast away any dust. So once you're satisfied with the cleanliness of the LCD screen, we will take the new touch digitizer, peel off the backing layer from the back side, the side that has the tape, of course. Make sure it's clean. Use your air duster just in case any dust fell on it. The tape usually has a backing layer on it to kind of hide the sticky surface. Now the tape is exposed, and note on the LCD that the top part here is thin and the bottom part is thick. So that's going to correspond to the glass. One final blast of the air duster. Make sure you're totally satisfied with how clean it is. And then place it straight onto the frame. Try and line it up, get it centered, get all the edges lined up. And then just drop it into place, just like that. So your cable should be at the bottom, thicker part, if that makes sense, to help you align it. Your orange cable should be at the bottom of the LCD, the thicker part. Now you can peel out the other side of the protective film. Make sure there was no dust or anything. And if that looks good, you can press down on the tape and seal up the new digitizer assembly. All right, so now you peel off the film and drop it right back into the display panel as you saw there. Take a note to not pinch the orange cable. Make sure you're holding it and you'll have access to it like that. Flip the motherboard back onto the back of the LCD. Try not to put any stress on the cables. There's a couple posts that the motherboard will fit over, just like that. Now this is the reverse of removal, where we will connect the ribbon cables to the motherboard. Make sure the motherboard clips are unlocked and pivoted upwards like you see here. If they're locked, you cannot insert the ribbon cable. So just tuck it in, get the ears lined up, hold it in place. Make sure it's nice and straight and all the way secured in there before you lock down the ribbon cable. And it'll click right into place. Same for the bottom digitizer cable. We've got the up-close view on this one. Those two little ears do a good job of holding the ribbon cable straight and in the connector fully. So it'll be very obvious if it's not engaged properly. All right, that is all set. Cables are lined up. Now we can put the plastic housing back on. The one catch here, the one trick, is that there are some metal pins that go through the plastic housing. Just make sure those things go in the right place. You don't want them getting jammed up and forced and bent. So it's in the right there, right where the finger was pointing. Make sure the pins go through the holes evenly. Then the plastic housing should drop right on without any force, and you can reconnect all of your T15 screws. No need to over tighten these. It's going into plastic, so just hand tight is totally fine. And then once you get all of these screws connected, it's the reverse of the removal process to reinstall it. No programming, no hassles, no dealer visits, no expensive bill for a whole display panel. It's very easy to save your existing display with just the new touchscreen and fix all of your touch problems. So hopefully this video was helpful. You can place your order at qscreens.com. You can use the year, make, model part finder to ensure you get the right screen for your car, and we ship from the US. If you have any questions, you can send an email over. I'd be happy to help you out. Otherwise, stay tuned for the next new screen to save your radio. Thanks for watching.